Welcome, everybody, to the PokeLads podcast, a Pokemon podcast where we talk about all things Pokemon and where we answer the question, what is your favorite Mega Evolution up to date with the release of the new Mega Evolution lines and Pokemon ZA coming out in about a week from now after this episode releases. I'm your boy, Does Size Matter, LOL, aka Adrian, aka AJ, aka Toxic Man Player. Here with my co-host. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend.
Hey guys, Sneaker Dad 93 here, aka Damian. That's it.
If you can't tell, we're recording this pretty late at night. We're all like in our like early 30s, which is pretty much the new 40s of this generation. So we're like running on no sleep.
I will take the fault on that. That's just what it's like having a 1.5-year-old who just she's growing, she's learning, and she's refusing to go to sleep any earlier than like 10 o'clock or even later. So anywho, okay, so what is my favorite Mega Evolution? It's so hard for me to pick because there are some really great ones, and then there are some meme ones that I would like to just pick for the fun of it. But I just kind of had a remembrance to I'm a big fan of just having beefy boys on your team. So Mega Swampert just looks absolutely yoked, and I would love to have his shoulder line, you know, the broad shoulders and the buff ass arms. Like, yeah, hell yeah, that's who I would go for mine. But Adrian, who would you go for yours?
Glazing Mega Swampert right now. So those are the kind of bodies you like. You like your big built beefy men.
Didn't.
We're not judging you. It's okay.
I didn't mean to paint myself into a corner here, but hold on. The question's you, not me. Like,
no, I'm like Mega Pokemon. I don't have a favorite one because my favorite one has yet to come out. Imagine if there was a Mega Miltank and instead of 4 nipples, it doubled it and it came out to 8 nipples.
This man is 10 toes down on Miltank.
Yes.
You have to respect it. Well, this episode, we actually have a guest with us. He's a very close friend of Adrian's, and we've been trying to get him on the podcast for quite some time. So we're finally happy that we have him here with us. We have Avery Balasbas. I actually don't know how to say your last name.
Right. Yeah.
Balasbas?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we also known as Avery Balasbas on Twitch. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
and if you were to pick your favorite Mega Evolution Pokemon, what would it be?
Oh man, it is kind of hard. I like that Adrian said like I don't have a favorite one yet because it hasn't come out. I appreciate that. I know you guys said like up until now, I feel like it changed over time because when Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out and they brought out Mega Sceptile, I was like, all right, that's it. Sceptile is one of my favorite starters.
Nice.
So yeah, that's when I was just like, damn, they did really well with all 3 of them, honestly. Exactly like you were saying, Damian, like Mega Swampert, swole. Mega Blaziken's design is really sick too. And I think like with the X and Y trio, similarly, like they did a great job with all 3 of those. But I'd probably have to say Mega Sceptile. And before that came out, like I think I chose version X because of Mega Charizard X. Not that I'm like a crazy Charizard fan, but for me it was that Easter egg of like it's shiny Charizard, and it just reminded me of like the OG kind of like shiny Charizard TCG cards, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe they gave a little homage to that. At least that's what I think, you know, when X and Y came out. And it was strange that only Charizard and then Mewtwo got X and Y forms, and now Raichu does. So kind of curious if that's going to be a thing moving forward, if there's going to be kind of dual evolutions for other Pokemon, but who knows?
Yeah, looking forward to it, and looking forward to seeing basically the official list when it comes out next week. I'm stoked because Kayla was nice enough to give me the Nintendo Switch Pokémon Legends EA combo. So it's an early birthday present for me. Nice. So I'll be just shut down and just caved in once that comes out. All right.
I was too lazy to purchase the Pokemon bundle. I ended up getting the Mario Kart bundle,
I did too.
and then and then purchasing ZA right after, or pre-ordering it. I was like, I wanted the Switch now.
Oh wait, so Avery, did you, or rather, I guess a question for both you guys, where did you guys pre-order from? Because I know that different vendors have different pre-order bonuses or like goodies to give out. So where did you guys order from?
Yeah, I missed the first pre-order on the Pokemon Center because they came with plushes, right, of the starters.
Mm.
And at that point in time, it was just money. I was like, I'll get it later, and then it disappeared. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not pre-ordering it anymore. And then luckily that second wave came out, and I think it has some pins, but I didn't realize that at that point all the other stores like Best Buy, Walmart, whatever, were doing their pre-orders. And I think the Best Buy one came with like a lot. It was like, oh, there's a poster with it and like some other memorabilia. But I'm like, I'm cool with the pin. I would have been really hype if there was like I don't know, they're not doing special edition Switches for this generation. I was kind of thinking like, oh, is there gonna? Well, they didn't release a Zelda game, but you know what I mean. Like if there was a dock that had, I don't know, Legends ZA on it or something like that, or with the Mario Kart one too. I was like, oh, would there be a Mario Kart World Nintendo Switch 2? But if anything, I'm just lucky that I was able to get even a Nintendo Switch 2 and then pre-order it. That Pokemon Center put up a second one after too. So thank you, Pokemon Center.
There was like a
Oh yeah.
leaked fan photo. Like I thought it was real, and it had like Zygarde on
Saw
the
that too.
Switch 2. Yeah, yeah. So I thought it was like an official release too. It would have been cool if they had like that design, but I have a feeling they're gonna save that for an actual mainline game, versus this just being like part of the Legends line.
True.
But yeah, I ended up pre-ordering mine at Best Buy because I saw that it came with a mouse pad, but they advertise it as like a TCG playmat, and it has the town map or the city map. I forgot where the fuck this place or where the game takes place. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. It has like Zygarde at the bottom left corner or something like that. And it just shows the entire map. I'm just hoping it's not like an actual mouse pad where it has the embroidered like edges and where it's like really thick. I really hope it's like one of the nice like TCG style playmats. So that's pretty cool. Plus, at Best Buy, if you don't end up like pre-ordering it, it's on sale for like $30 if you just want to buy the mouse pad playmat thing separately.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Noted.
Yeah. I originally was going to do it from GameStop because I was trying to trade in my current, or like the Nintendo Switch that I did have, and I think they were doing $60. But what's when my wife decided to surprise me for the gift for my birthday, she basically caught wind of the fact that I was trying to trade in my Switch, and she was like, that's basically what spoiled the surprise of letting me know ahead of time, where she was trying to say, don't do anything. I already pre-ordered it, so please don't try to buy it yourself. Because at first I was just trying to see if I could just get some cash for my birthday, and I was just like, oh, I'll just do the trade and I'll just offset the cost. But she actually pre-ordered it from Best Buy, and then I tried looking up Best Buy traded deals, and it turns out they were able to give me $75 for it. So I was able to get like a little extra money for that same trade-in value, which was cool.
Nice.
But yeah, looking forward to getting the playmat, and just kind of curious also to see if it's like a mouse pad versus like a actual TCG mat, just like how Adrian said. But yeah, so for our listeners here, Avery actually has quite the following on Twitch, and he's quite the content creator himself.
I don't know about that, but thank you.
We're using him for our own exposure.
We're asking him to boost our bottom. But I wanted to get a better understanding of like what it was like for you starting out with just being on Twitch. Like, how did you grow your audience? Was it just something that you just kind of naturally fell into, or even where you want to just taking a step back before you even Twitch? Just how did you want to just start out with telling everyone your story?
Yeah.
Hey, before you start, you got to hit us with your infamous tagline when you get rated. What's your catchphrase?
I low-key was about to just say that.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to intro
Yeah.
it. It's really just like, hey guys, my name's Avery. I'm a recovering high school English teacher turned co-working streamer, and then I kind of go from there. I play Pokemon TCG, Nintendo games, etc., etc. But that's kind of like the first tagline, and just to make it clear that like, yeah, I'm a former teacher. That's a really big part of my identity, and I think the journey that led to what is today was a lot of like, after I left the classroom, was like, who am I without Mr. B? Like I've become so enveloped in my life with education, and I'm super passionate about it. But I also had realized like my tether to the classroom was like so strong that folks that were our age, they're going out rock climbing after work, and that's kind of what really pulled me into it. And like a lot of other things where I was like, wow, I'm very invested in what I do. I love what I do, but I don't have any hobbies outside of this. And so that's kind of what started having me branch out from teaching. But really, like Twitch was just something that I only knew of because like my brother used to work as a bar back at there was a bar in San Francisco, Folsom Street Foundry, I think, or something. They did a lot of video
Folsom
game
Street
stuff.
Foundry. Yep.
Yeah, and so he
Nice.
used to work there, and I think Twitch like had an event, and so he got like free Twitch gear, gifted it to me because he was able to snag an extra one. And so back in like the old pep days and interning and stuff, I would wear this Twitch hoodie, and people would be like, "Are you a streamer?" And I was like, what makes you think that? And I was like, oh, I'm wearing a Twitch jacket. And so like that kind of just implanted in my mind over the years. Even students, when I started teaching too, they're just like, oh my God, you're on Twitch. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And so like fast forward into the pandemic where it kind of started, me and some of my other friends, we used to have our own podcast too. And we brought on like our other friends that were streaming, they were DJing and other stuff. And I think the pandemic was a big time where streaming kind of took off.
Oh yeah.
And so those friends that were already at, like 500 to 1,000 followers, they were kind of, I guess, infecting other friends where it's like, you should stream too. It's really easy. Like you already have a PC build, you got a camera, just play Valorant. Like it's so easy. And in my case, it wasn't because I didn't have a PC. And so we did an episode where the rest of our guests that were on were like, what would you say that Avery and one of my other friends, Mario, would do as streamers? And so my homie Mario, he's now like an announcer commentator for like the Smash Brothers Ultimate community. And so,
Oh, wow.
That's pretty crazy.
and
What?
so before he got to that, it was like he just played Smash on the regular as Jigglypuff, and now he's like the NorCal Jigglypuff in his ranking and all that stuff. But back then, like our friends were like, "Oh, he'd make a really good commentator. He's really good at speed running stuff, and he could do Smash Brothers content." Lo and behold, it turned into his thing. And on my end, it was like the word co-working didn't really exist yet, so people were like, I could see Avery doing like productivity streams where he's just like online, okay. People are studying with him or something. And I ended up trying it out because I was like, that's something I thought of. And so where it all started was 2021 or whatever, the 2021 school year. We were required to do office hours with San Francisco Unified. And they're just like, you need to host office hours because the school day ends at like 12 or 1 p.m. And my kids weren't showing up because Zoom fatigue. And I already knew while I was teaching class that they were on Twitch. So I was like, I'm just going to host office hours on Twitch to, kind of create a space outside of Zoom. And that's kind of where it all started. I started doing the co-working streams, and students would actually come in for essay writing help. My mods were, former business and math majors, so they would help them with stats and stuff. And it kind of just created an ecosystem that was really for my students at first. And then after, the pandemic, I kind of just kept it up as a hobby. It didn't really go anywhere. It was just like, I kind of want to hop on. I have the ability to stream. Started playing Nintendo Switch games. And I think I started taking it more seriously this year when I previously got laid off. So I was unemployed for about a year. And I was like, you know what? Got nothing better to do. AJ saw that I went to Pokemon Worlds in Hawaii, and he had like made a comment on it. He's like, dude, are you playing TCG? And I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, let's learn how to do
spider
this.
senses were tingling. I was like, man, I sensed something. I sensed some disturbance in the force.
And like, when he commented on it, I was like, do you play TCG? And I learned all about like AJ's like just TCG history in general. And he kind of just gave me the tip, like, hey man, if you're really interested in playing, you should check out TCG Live. It's the app for the game. So that way, like, because I was asking questions about like, where do I start? And he's like, it's easy there because you could just play for no money and get into the game. And the option during unemployment to better myself professionally, which was, which I did. I bought LinkedIn Premium, but didn't do anything with it. I was like, I'm going to take project management certifications and other things, to try to make myself more viable in the job market. And I was like, or I could no life it into TCG live and stream on Twitch, and those are like my two pathways. And I just dived straight into Twitch and TCG live, and I think that's where it all kind of started. Like, we ended up hitting 300 followers like sometime last fall, and the reward for the community was like, okay, we're gonna open a Discord server, because like the stream was just TCG live. AJ was also in and out of that too, and people were just queuing up to play each other. It was just this little community of people. Like, it got too much in the chat where people were like, I want to play Avery next, but you know how long games are, so it's just like,
Yeah.
we need a server so people can share their tags and just play against each other so that they can come on stream at some point. And for a little while, it was a nice little thing. And then after that, yeah, you know, the TCG journey just kind of started, and I just kept streaming on Twitch from there. I'm not that big, but I'm not even that big, like 500 followers as of recently. I'm proud of that.
Oh, I'm not big. 500 followers.
We all have to start somewhere.
We had to start somewhere. Like, but yeah,
No,
Damn.
that's awesome though. You know what's funny is that your what's it? We maybe on this podcast we just love teachers, because there's Adrian, there's you, my friend Jeremiah was on this episode.
That episode was awesome.
Yeah. So I think we as people just have this idea about, you know, kind of going hand in hand with the Pokemon community about giving back to the community, wanting to just create this ecosystem where we're all just thriving and enjoying and doing what we love, and helping those who come after us also enjoy that same ecosystem and thriving and doing what they love. So that's awesome that you were able to create that for yourself. That sounds like an amazing journey. So kudos to you. Really quick, just want to say that right off the rip.
Yeah, when we talked with Jeremiah in that episode, we really went into like the education portion, what he does with his like TCG club out at Burden. So he taught at Burden too, which is one of our old PEP sites when me and Avery were still teaching for PEP. And yeah, like, man, I have to always like kind of humble myself and also like give the flowers to people that used to be educators, because that shit was hella hard. Like, I can't even remember what it's like to be in a classroom, and there's a reason why like I personally left. But like, there's always going to be that aspect of education that's with us that we like to like pass on to other people, just like Damian was saying, right? So like, even though like you're no longer in like a normal like high school classroom, you're still finding ways to promote some type of education, whether it's through doing your co-working streams with folks on the internet, or even like your past students, or even like teaching people about like Pokemon as well. So that's really cool. Like, just to see how like that passion of education doesn't always have to be tied to like the actual classroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, was it Jeremiah? Sorry, I forgot his name. Yeah.
Jeremiah.
To his credit too, like, I don't even know I know why I stumbled upon it. During the stint of unemployment, my brother found this like job posting that was like looking for Pokemon TCG teachers. And I was like, that is so specific. But it was just through like a small private company. And they only pay like by the hour, but the class is once a week, 1 hour. So it's really not that much, but it kind of kept me busy, which was nice. And like, it was, the two postings were literally Anime Club and Pokemon TCG Club. And
wow.
And my brother was like, dude, that's literally you. And I looked into it. I taught for a semester. It was like 2nd to 5th graders. The Anime Club was kind of like an English class. It was teaching narrative through anime. And so like, protagonists, antagonists, etc., using shonen anime and other stuff and teaching the genres and everything. And then Pokemon TCG was just straight up learn how to play. And the school already is equipped with those Battle Academy sets. I mean, they're missing so many cards. Like, kids over the years stole so many of them. But I sat down through the resources and like learned what the Battle Academy was. And I was like, oh, this is actually really great. Like, the cards are numbered and you don't have to learn how to shuffle or search for things. It's really just, you literally play it in order and you learn through those literal steps of the game. Just the hard part of getting kids to be patient, I think, was the challenge, because they were just so excited that there's Pokemon cards in front of them. And then to ask, a 9-year-old to focus on the math or even just read what the card says, when they're just like, I just want to play Pikachu. And it's like, I'm going to do 200 damage. And it's like, that's not how that works. But
maybe making up their own fucking rules, the wild, wild west of card games.
They really do.
I feel like we've all been through that as kids too. Like, for Yu-Gi-Oh, you just summon blue eyes with no tributes.
That's pretty much how it was. They were kind of just playing however they wanted, and to a certain point, you know, with both the Anime Club and Pokemon TCG Club or class, whatever you want to call it, I just realized I'm like, you know what, these are kids, and even though there is a structured curriculum that I was supposed to follow, the goal is that this is memorable for them. So even with the Anime Club, I like kind of threw away the lessons that I had, and I was like, we're just gonna watch anime, and you guys are gonna draw your favorite characters, and you know, I
There
kind
you
of
go.
just then like with Pokemon, it was just like you guys are just gonna play against each other, no rules. They ended up getting it down because shout out to I don't know if it's Pokemon TCG's YouTube channel, but they have a really good like 7-minute video, 12-minute video that
Oh,
explains literally how to play. And I sat down with the kids, we watched it, and after that, like they got the basic rules, and I was like, why didn't I do this at week 1? Because it was like week 7 already. You know? But like they understood that like okay, there's prize cards and we have to like play in order, and it was just by the end of the course, it was funny because about half of them knew how to play, and so when they saw someone was cheating, they would just call each other out and be like, "You can't do that! Like it's
Judge.
my turn to do this." Yeah, it was so funny, dude.
And then lo and
oh,
behold, one of those kids become the juniors champion, juniors world champion
That'd be
for
crazy.
upcoming worlds.
and then they'll shout out Avery as their teacher for getting them that far into the game.
So like
What?
you talked a little bit about you know, just like, you know, content creation and stuff like that. I think like you're probably one of the most like, at least the people that I know like closely and personally, like one of the most like consistent, and you're really like dedicated to the craft. Like you have all your like your stills, your thumbnails are really dope too, and like just the shorts that you put out. I feel like you're a really good content creator. But I want to like go deeper into like, how did Pokemon TCG start for you? Because like I feel like we've come a long way since like, what is it, like maybe a year ago, where like I hit you up about like, oh my god, you play, to like where you are now. Like, can you talk a little bit about like just the TCG portion of it and like your relationship to it and your journey in learning the game?
First of all, thanks. Because I don't think my thumbnails are great. It's just whatever I can find in the video, and I'm just like, all right, we're gonna go with this part right here.
I
um,
mean, they're just like professionally made. I don't know, just maybe that's just me,
no,
but
thanks.
it looks really good. Yeah.
Thanks, man. I try. I'm trying to get more into like the long form content and actually intentionally making thumbnails and other things, but like that's a whole nother art to it, you know. And like I think like is it Sneaker TCG Talk or something? The guy in
Hmm.
Canada. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know, him and many others, like when I kind of look at their content, I'm like, man, how do I kind of get there? But I think part of where I'm at right now, it's just like I do enjoy the streaming aspect of it because there's a live community. And again, it kind of Damien, you were talking about it. It kind of reminds me of the classroom. Like it feels like an easy transition where it's just like I can directly talk to people about the things that I'm opening right now. Um, and it's funny because some viewers that have come in, there's one guy very recent. Shout out It's Kuya Joey. He came in and I pulled
Yeah.
like a Shedinja, and I was like, oh, you could like do this and this with Ninjask and it'll do that. And he was like, oh, uh, you're really knowledgeable. What the heck? I thought this card just came out. And I was like, no, I was reading like the abilities and stuff. He's like, I was just like, oh, shiny card. That's really cool. Like, but
He's Damian. He's also like a resident like off meta rogue deck builder too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I what's it? I think I remember Avery had posted about how he had just gotten to RCS on TCG Live,
mm-hmm.
and I just messaged him like, "Hey, congrats!" And he asked me the question, "Hey, like now that do I lose my RCS ranking?" I'm like, "No, but you could just like go lower in ranking but still be RCS level." And I told him how I'm a rogue degenerate deck builder, and then I showed him. I think it's when I was running that stupid Gargantical deck, and I still play it from time
Mm-hmm.
to time. But whenever I run that stuff, like I kid you not, my ranking goes down to like 1200s or something like that.
I wouldn't know. I only play meta like a true player.
I definitely feel because like of AJ, I am like a meta player in a sense. I mean, you pointed out that like when I started playing Archaludon, you're like, oh, all right, like not necessarily meta, but not necessarily rogue either. It's like just not a common play. And I hope to get into like you know that type of level of theory crafting or deck crafting at some point. I feel like well, you've seen my brother's deck. he's literally playing a mill deck, and so we've gone like two different directions where I'm trying to figure out how the meta works, and then he's just like, let me try to find all the cards that are just gonna mess with people because I just wanted to disrupt them and all that kind of stuff.
I respect it though. That man is like 7 formats behind playing Great Tusk Mill, but he's still making it work. I'm like, holy shit! Like he locked me at locals the other day. So like, respect to him. Shout out to Addison, man.
Yeah, dude. He even like he beat me on the first round because like he kept milling my cards, and I was like, okay, well I couldn't get set up. And like typically, like when I'm playing against my brother, I get a turn 3 setup, and then that's it. It's done. It doesn't matter if he mills my cards. He's not gonna knock me out. But I wasn't able to get set up, and he just milled away. And the what are those little hand fan things that move energy?
Oh, handheld fan.
Yeah, he's good with those, with attaching them. So like when he sees something that's on my bench, I kind of forget because it's not like how when you're playing Iron Hands and you target my Dunsparces or something, he's using the handheld fan to target like my Relincanth, which doesn't need steel energies, but he's gonna move all of them there, and I don't have energy switch, and I'm just like, this guy, like,
you can't get him back. Yeah, no, like that man is dedicated to that deck, man. And he's the only person I've ever seen hit Professor Sato just for 1 energy.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. But yeah, I'll continue like with your just journey with like TCG and stuff. Like, how has it been for you?
Back to your original question, like I remember when you messaged me, it started at Worlds, and just exploring, like taking in what Worlds was in general. I think that was apparently like one of the first ones as of post-pandemic that looked that big. Like it didn't look like that before. It was just, we used to be at a Marriott ballroom and there was like 100 people, or no, like less people. It wasn't like this whole fanfare that it is now. And so in Honolulu, at the end of Worlds, my brother's like, hey, like before we leave, I want you guys to try a build and battle. And we're just like, like none of us really cared about TCG except my cousin's husband, because he's been following VGC and TCG just as a fan, as an audience member.
I love building battles.
I do too. Fun. I think it is my favorite thing of TCG because it's just such an interesting format. Also, you just get to play with new cards and keep them. And I think that was exactly what my brother sold us, all 4 of us, on. He was like, don't need to know how to play. You're going to learn how to play in it, and you get free cards. Like that was like the biggest thing. And part of me was like, I don't know that I care for cards, just because that gap between whatever the e-reader generation was on TCG.
My God.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I remember that.
That's how long ago like I had opened my last maybe box or pack, because it was just like whatever, my parents could afford at the time. And I didn't even have an e-reader for the GBA. I just had those cards.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's like the cartridge portion, right? You put it in there, scan the card, then you get it in the game.
Yeah. So like, I wish that I had the e-reader so it could go into the game, but I got to find those cards because that was the last TCG I had. And then AJ was asking me like, so what do you remember from the game? And I'm like, I just remember attaching energies and evolving is important. Obviously that's changed, but AJ's recommendation was like, okay, when you get into live, play the Charizard deck. It's very straightforward to what you're telling me you remember. And that's kind of where I guess like after the build and battle is kind of where it started. In the build and battle, I think the serious hooker that got me into it was the person I was playing against is this guy from Japan. Forgot his IG, like Whooper or something, but he's a card collector. And I was asking him questions like, hey man, this is my first time. I don't really know what's going on. And he's like, oh, don't worry, dude. You're going to get beginner's luck. And my first pack out of the box was the Blood Moon Ursaluna Twilight Masquerade SIR. And
oh my God.
And everyone around me was like, what? And he was like, oh, dude. Oh my. And then I got like a ultra rare Chansey and other EXs. And he's like, okay, your box is about to be broken. Like, as I'm playing, because I ended up getting wins in that tournament. And I think just that experience alone is like, it really got me hooked in to like, what's next? Where do I go from here? And the rest of that Worlds, me and my cousins, we kept doing more side events because my brother was like, that was the fun for him when he went to Worlds in 2016 when he was back in San Francisco. He attended with his friend that was competing in the TCG bracket.
Oh wow.
And his friend used to be like super competitive with it, and now he's just like a vendor, I think. But my brother was there for side events, and that's what he remembered, that side events were fun. We farmed like a bunch of tickets. I found a Pokemon Unite side event. I play that on the side too. And the team I was with, we went 3-0, and they like rewarded us heavy by placing first in the bracket. So then like we all went home with like ETBs
My
because we
God.
had so many tickets. Like the inflation on tickets from last year's Worlds to Anaheim is insane. But like we all went home with an ETB. So I think I had Temporal Forces. My cousin had. They both got a Paldean Fates each, and then I don't know if my brother got one. But then I still got the Pokemon Unite jersey, and we bought a bunch of other packs from the prize wall. It was insane. And like, there's a whole video on that where we just ripped a bunch of packs. And I think that really was like, okay, what do we do now? Like, we just have all these cards.
Just all this, you vend. You vend.
No. And my cousin was like, at this point, I kind of just got back into streaming, and I just got laid off like a week before Worlds or something like that. And like I was saying earlier, I had already been streaming on Twitch, and all of us were like, how do we keep this up? Like, what do we do now? And my cousin's husband was like, okay, we have two options. We either get invited to Worlds again through TCG, which is highly unlikely, or Avery starts creating content and Pokemon reaches out to him and invites him to something.
I was like, there you go.
And that's kind of what the big push, into the whole TCG stuff was, because it was like, yeah, either get a project management certification or play TCG live. And that's kind of how it all started, like getting into the app. And then I think the Charizard like battle deck had come out. And so like those couple months of just playing TCG live, trying to figure it out, were really challenging, because like I feel like the era of TCG we're entering in right now, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of just reminiscent of like how stacked it was before V-Star left. Like there was just so many different things happening that like I couldn't, at the time I had joined from August 2024 to the end of 2024, like that was 4 months to try to learn this meta. And then, we were at Sacramento, and then I went to Toronto, and it was just like I couldn't remember all the things that I was playing. Like if I saw a Lugia deck, I'm like, I kind of know. I think I need to target the Minchinos. I don't know. It was a lot. Or if a Regidrago deck came out, and then fast forward to April, everything changed, and I was like, oh my god, like it was such a challenge to kind of learn in that moment. But I think that set me up for when the rotation happened. It wasn't as bad. It was just sad to lose things that like AJ had gifted me, like Rotom V, Radiant Zard, Radiant Greninja, and all that stuff. To kind of to facilitate the deck, because the first, I don't know if was that a League Cup or something in Daly City that we went to.
You joined your first. I think that was your first ever League Cup too.
Yeah, that was my first event, and then round one, me and AJ get paired together, and he bonked me on turn 2.
Oh, that was amazing! Yeah, because I was playing Raging Bolt, and then I think you only had a Radiant Charizard active, and I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. And this is when Raging Bolt was like at its like its peak with like the Radiant Greninjas, and it was just a mindless deck. I remember that. I felt so bad.
That was so
I was like,
funny.
oh, we got paired. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
And literally like that day, he had just given me like all the other like Radiant Zard, Rotom V, Luminion, like just to help fill the deck with the things I was missing, because I was just straight up playing the League Battle deck, which is just Zard and Pidgeot and all the other trainers in there. But the stuff that he had given me was like the stuff I was using in TCG Live, and so it just kind of helped make the deck a little bit better. And so like now I'm just reminiscing on that cup specifically. But like the last match is when I got one dub, and I was like, oh my god, like I can do this. Let's sign up for a regional, which is insane to think. Like that's the logic.
Did you you faced that thing, right?
Straight to regional.
It was your last round was a mirror match, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was a mirror match. Yeah. And that was insane. Shout out to Markakino or pseudo Markakino that I was playing.
Yeah. No, that day was heavy for sure, but it was it was also a good balance of like meeting new folks. Yeah,
no, it was, and I think like that really opened up that. And when I went to the Sacramento regional, so this is kind of just tying to the question of like kind of that journey. I pulled up to Sacramento regional with just cards that I had opened through the content creating journey and opening stuff on stream. I had like a weird like Cornerstone Ogerpon with like random other cards. I was trying to build like an Infernape Annihilate with Cornerstone Ogerpon because that's all I owned. And so I was like, okay, I think I'm seeing some fighting fire synergy here. And then pulled up to Sacramento. I did sign up to compete, but I had to drop out because I had to fly out for a work trip literally that same day. But when I pulled up on day 0 and I'm doing side events, these guys that I'm playing with, have their built out Metazard decks and everything. We're playing the bracket, and people were just so confused as to like what I was playing. There was no draw engine. There was like really no focus. I'm just playing Mons. I didn't even really have any good trainers. And it was after playing against these people, they're like, "Hey, can I see your deck?" And they would like flip through it, and they took out their bulk. Like you could really benefit from like these supporters, this, and this. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. So like, how do I get those?" Like, yeah, people sell them at the shop, but like, here, you can have these. And just like how AJ, I mean, like from AJ to me, like I understand that kind of kindness because like we're friends, but then like from these complete strangers, um, there was one specific person. His name's Dan. He's like in Alaska, and he was like, when I first started playing TCG, I remember when someone did the same thing for me. I came in with a road deck. They brought out their bulk. They filled it in, and they just let me keep it. And the least I can do is like pay it forward. And I was so moved by that. And like it just kind of, I was like, wow, exactly what you guys were saying earlier. Like I want to keep passing that on because if that's what this community is, great. I want to be part of it. And like then I just kind of kept going forward into it and playing TCG and figuring out what else could I give back to the community. On like that kind of content creating piece. Like, yeah, I was trying to also figure out like, what do I even create? Like Pokemon is so oversaturated, especially with the TCG side of things. Videos are very much like carbon copy where it's like, here's the prices and a fast pack rip because we're only looking for the pulls. And I'm actually really surprised that no one has commented on my stuff to be like, when I get a hit, they're just like, you didn't show the whole pack, like fake news or something like that. You know what I mean? But I think like I've noticed that maybe it's just my personality or something. But like when I'm opening the packs, like I'm either reading the cards or I'm like talking about different theories that I've seen. And a lot of people that come through to the streams or into the comments are just like, oh, you're actually someone that plays. Like you're not just a pack ripper or you're not just a scalper or something like that. It's like, oh, all right, I'm here for it. And then they follow, they sub, or they continue watching. And I think that also continues motivating me because like, I think it's just a teacher mentality. It's like just as much as I'm learning from this, I'm learning from my community too. Like a lot of the people, like Empathic Harmony, that's come through to the stream. Like I've learned
Shout out to
so
Empathic
much.
Harmony.
Yeah, seriously, I've
Yeah.
learned so much from my viewers that are really good at TCG, and I wouldn't be like where I'm at right now if they didn't teach me how to play. Honestly, like the amount of
That person's like another rogue junkie too. Like, man,
so
the
good.
decks that person builds, oh my god.
I
Jesus
want to be able to get
Christ.
to that
Like,
level someday. So far, I'm just not at that level yet, but I would like to get to that level someday.
I mean, if you played the Feraligatr deck, I feel like you're already halfway there. Like,
I enjoy the Feraligatr deck. It has better draw than the Garganical deck is fun. And it'll have a place in my heart along with that team, like what's that Team Rocket's Crobat EX deck. But I've learned my lesson taking it to an actual event. So, what's it? I was going to say something and then I totally forgot, but it'll come back to me. I'll come back
I
to
think
that.
the new like the niche content that you need to put out, Avery, is once you send like a V4 or V5 at the top of the climb, you're gonna open a pack. Open a pack. I bet there's nobody's doing that yet.
All right.
Like one pack for each number that you send. So like V0 open 0 packs. V1 you clear it, you open 1 pack.
Dude, to be at the top of like a V4 or 5, like barely hanging on, it's like so tired. It's just like
and then just like pull out some packs like right at the end of it. Her hands are trembling.
I know, seriously, my arms are just gonna be so gassed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But kind of like circling back to what you were saying earlier, I remembered what I was going to talk about. I think people can tell with intent on like, is this person about the hobby, or are they really just trying to go along with the hot trend right now to be able to get the numbers, the viewers, the content, to be able to you could tell who's there because they actually care about Pokemon and people want to reward that versus people who are just obviously just trying to get eyeballs into their channel just to monetize. And so, when I think it's easy for any of us who are actually in the hobby to say, like, I could tell you love it. I could tell you're about it. How can I help you? Because I just want to make sure that I'm supporting the community that I'm coming from, that we're all coming from, for that respect. So no, that's honestly a really beautiful story that you were able to share for us. from your time at the SAC regional. So thank you for sharing. Honestly, like, it makes me so
Good
happy,
man.
like that there are people like that still out there consistently. Even to this day at different events. So.
Yeah, this man's like traveled to like more regionals. Like I've played longer than him, but he's been to like NEICs. He's been to like 2 worlds. I'm like, dude, you went full send into trying to be the very best, like no one ever was, man.
I seriously like had nothing better to do, because in part of like the unemployment thing, I was like, you know what? Like we really have nothing to do, and I just like I got hotel points from the work travel and like travel points and stuff. I'm like, I guess we're going to Atlanta, or I guess we're going to Toronto, and like I just sent it, and like I remember specifically the Toronto trip. I was like, okay, we're going in with Charizard. I think we've been doing pretty well, and this is like pre-rotation, and back in the old ladder where it was just like really hard to grind.
Mm-hmm.
I was like in the last tiers of Ultra. I don't even remember what it was. I never got to Masters, but at that part of Ultra, it was just really sweaty. And I was like, I think I can do this. Go to Toronto. I take like all the L's to the face. I didn't win a single match. And I was so depressed, because I was like, I can't, like, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. I was like, I'm capping. Like, I'm not good. I think I am, but I'm not. And it was just kind of that imposter syndrome. Because like I think I ended up going like 3-6. It was 9 rounds, which was not typical of the other regionals.
Wow.
Because there were so many people that I think flew into Toronto, especially because I guess globally it is kind of more central than flying to Sacramento per se. For people that are coming internationally, because I did hear around me there was a lot of international people that were at Toronto, not just because it was in Canada, but I think just East Coast wise, it was easier to access for people. And the 3 wins I got were round buys. And I felt so deflated by that, because I was like, I didn't get these wins, but every person that I kind of met, or some of the people that I ran into again, just through the community, they're like, dude, take the dub. Even AJ was like, bro, like you got a dub. But like I didn't even win one set. That was the thing that kind of bothered me. It's like I couldn't even get like 1 of 2 in my loss kind of thing. And I remember I texted AJ pretty immediately after, and he just went into like coach teacher mode and was just like, well, what do you think you did? What do you think you could have done better? And because I like sent him a list of like, I like straight up took notes, and he was like, oh,
They gave me the match play-by-play for each match. Yeah.
And like,
I was for it. I was like, all right.
And he was like, okay, well, you have all this. Like, there's got to be something that you could take a step back and look at. But I was just so hung up in my emotions that I was like, I couldn't do it. And then like talking through it, I'm like, yeah, there were just some last plays that I could have made better, because I think almost a good amount of rounds it was just 1-to-1 prizers, or those last 2, and I could have won, but it was just simple bosses order that won the other person the match. And that's where like I think it really locked in, where AJ was like, sequencing, man, like once you get that down, you get your prize mapping down, like it'll be better. And then kind of like fast forward into the TCG journey, I think you were playing Raging Bolt still or something, and I was still on Zard, and there was this one match we played on stream, and I ended up winning, and AJ's like, all right, it's not gonna happen again. Like,
did I say that? Damn, I'm so mean. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It was a fun time, because like
no joke.
I didn't even think
I
I was
have
gonna
no
win.
filter sometimes. I gotta check myself. I gotta humble myself. I'm not even that great of a player.
This guy's a pro, man.
No.
Damn,
I really said that. My fault.
No, you're good, dude. It was great, but it was like it, and it didn't happen again for a while. Like, in all honesty,
That's true. Yeah.
But it was like after that win, and then like just playing, you're like, dude, your sequencing and your prize mapping got really good. And I had no idea what he meant until like I started playing more and realizing like, oh, I also probably think because you can hear my audio as I'm playing, even though you like probably block the window or whatever. Because when I'm streaming live, I'm still talking through my moves. And I don't know, maybe even in part of that, you kind of just notice like, oh, all right, he knew to chain the Arvin into this to get that, so you could evolve Charizard and do this or whatever. And then I think like later down the line too, when I started playing Archaladon, you had a similar comment again too. You're like, oh, what the heck? Like, you just started playing this and you like you figured out that cycle. But I think like I translated those same skills from the Zard deck to like, is there another Mon out there that does something similar? And so that's kind of why I gravitated to Archaladon, because just figuring out
Mm-hmm.
ways to accelerate energies. And again, folks like Empathic Harmony and many others, they had asked me, they're just like, what is the intention with your deck? Like, because after learning all these skills, I was like, I need to have abilities and a draw engine, energy accelerator, and all this. And people were pointing out, like, you actually can't have all of those in one deck. It just, you could, it's just going to it's going to clog your hand. It's going to be too slow, have too many Pokemon, not enough of the right trainers, or too many energies. And so that's where I just kind of had to start whittling it back down and figuring out, like, okay, what's something that's similar, but that has a really good focus. And I think the first time, I can't remember which event it was, but there was, I was still playing Zard, and it was against this guy that had the Archaludon deck, because I kept seeing it on TCG Live, and he was running it with the Dunsparces. And so watching him play, I was like, and we're talking through the match. I'm surprised I still beat him because of the canceling the fire weakness and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was about to win, but I think it was, again, the final boss's order where I bossed it up and then I got him. And then also being down or being up prize cards, no, whatever it is, Charizard gets stronger. I was able to like one hit KO at the end. And he's like, oh man, like I just misplayed something. And then he let me look through his deck, and I was like, I kind of just took a mental note and was like, okay, I'm gonna try to figure out how to build this, because it just looked really fun, the kind of movement that he was doing. And then also the Metal Defender move, which cancels out just fire weakness, was just fascinating to me. It's like, oh, there's a second ability on this Pokemon, like, and it's not a Terra type, it's just a normal EX. And I think that was something I was looking for too, because with the onset of all the Terras, depending on which one, right, they need 3 different kinds of energies or something like that. And that was just too much thinking for me. I was like, no, I'm not there yet. I need something a little more simpler. I'm gonna stick with one.
Well, not to mention, like, Archaludon has a fat ass 300 HP.
Yeah,
like it's hard to knock out for a lot of different decks, unless, like, they end up like wasting resources, like a Raging Bolt or something like that. But yeah, I think, like, going back to, like, seeing your progression, like, I knew you improved once you were like, okay, I'm going to check the prize mapping, but you also ran through your deck on live to see what was prized, because that's something that I still have trouble doing, especially in like best of one. So when you started doing that, and I'm like, okay, like, he's actually, like, he's improved. He understands like the 2/2/2 prize mapping, and like understanding what your opponent's playing. Like, you don't have to understand how the deck works, but you have to understand what's the most efficient way for me to finish this game as fast as possible. So, like, once you understood that and you got your sequencing down, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should start trying more, because he's probably going to get really good.
Well,
Yeah, that growth is like really awesome to see,
Yeah,
Thanks,
I mean, like, just there's levels to it where, like, you first try to understand what the hell cards you're playing.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, once I understand my cards, like, how do I speed up my deck so I can get my cards played out the fastest? And then the next level after that is, the sequencing, as you guys are talking about, is like, okay, now that I know how my deck works and I'm really comfortable with it, like, how do I get the prizes to be able to win as fast as possible, as compared to just trying to hit whatever's in front of me, just because I know how my deck works now. It's not enough to just be like, okay, I got my setup, I'm just going to hit whatever's in front. It's like, no, you actually have to, like, think about it ahead of time. So what's been your favorite deck that you've liked to play then? I know that you say you're running Archaludon right now, you've been enjoying that, but as far as, like, since you are a rogue deck degenerate just like myself, what's been your favorite to play for the past year that you've been into this hobby?
I wish I had a better answer, because, like, I've only been playing Zard and Archaludon. But I've been keeping my eye on, like, other decks that I want to try out. Like, I'm very fascinated by trying to do something with, like, whether it's like Mimikyu, Cornerstone, or Milotic EX. Those are like EXs. Just trying to, like, block people from attacking is something that I still want to try. I don't know if this one's going to be good in the meta now, but I still want to build an Alakazam Mind Jack deck to attack from the bench. It only does 100. Yeah, it only does 120 damage. So I'm like, that's not really that great, but to kind of stall someone out and, just block, just keep attacking from the bench is something that I'm still fascinated by. And then in this current meta, I have my eye on the Ninjask Shedinja deck, because it's like it can just do its little U-turn thing and keep raking in damage. And if you get Shedinja out, they knock it out. They don't take a prize card, especially if it's a EX with this current meta. Like everything's an EX right now, so there's no issue with needing to run into like the V star V max kind of thing. So I don't know if that's gonna work. Some other people had recommended today, like, why even use Ninjask? Just evolve straight into Shedinja and then have another card that can either U-turn or attack or block. And I'm like, that's a good idea too. But if I was trying to keep it like a single prizer kind of deck, I think I would try to lean more towards that. Very much inspired by, again, Empathic Harmony, because they build the craziest single prizers. And like I want to figure out how to do that, because it takes so much longer for the opponent to whittle you down, and by the time you knock them out, you're taking in more prize cards. If we were still in like the previous rotations, something I did want to try was, it was like a Dodrio drain move. What is that? I forgot the item. And it had like, I think there was another combo with it where there was like a Gengar that you could like bring from the discard pile or something without evolving it. I don't know. It was
is it
it's the Netherworld Gate, I think.
Yeah.
It's basically where if you have Gengar at the discard pile, you can bring it to your bench.
Mm-hmm.
I actually used that deck with a Hisuian Zoroark.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen that. It's a nasty build.
Extremely nasty.
So
super nasty. I had to experience that fucking deck first face hand.
Mm-hmm.
So dumb, Damian.
Kudos to you.
I think the card you're talking about, was it Dodrio with damage pump?
Yes, I think it's like either, I don't know if it's like once during your turn you can like put a damage counter on Dodrio, and then you could put
zooming draw,
and then you can use the damage or draining pump or something to move stuff around, and then it gets like, I think it is a Hisuian Zoroark that can do more damage with damage counters on it, and then you bring that out and then just boom, just lay out a bunch of damage on your opponent. And I was just
made a similar deck to that too.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It was Dodrio with zooming draw, but you played Steelix with it, and Steelix had Earthquake. And every time you would use Earthquake, it would do like 20 or 30 damage to your bench Pokemon. So you would pump up damage to the Dodrio that way, and then hit it with a switch or a switch cart, and then attack with like 300 damage on like a single prizer Dodrio. So that move's hella busted.
Mm-hmm.
You can also add, there's a Spiritomb card where I think for like 1 or 2 energy, I forgot what the cost was, but the attack is for every damage on each of your Pokemon, place that damage onto your opponent's active.
Ooh.
So like you could like literally like just build up like as much damage count as possible, like maxed out. Same thing with the Hisuian Zoroark, and it's a single prizer too. And then you just like, it's a good late game card if you just have everything built out and you just need to like start swapping from like 2 prizers, or at this point now that we have the Megas 3 prizers, just a single prizer. And it was like, okay, I'll just swing for like 600 damage.
That's insane. Yeah, one of the other decks I want to try building is, I don't know if it's gonna last, but it's that Scovillain EX that does more damage.
Oh dude, I hate that deck so much. It's so good.
I want to figure it out. I think that's probably the first thing that I might build outside of.
Is it Scovillain with Hydrapple?
I think, because it's the one that has the Scovillain that has a dual typing where it can be fire and grass.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the more damage it has on it, it just does like 20 or something. It's a crazy amount actually. But
the insane, like, and then you put, if you're able to get like 1 Scovillain with like a Hero's Cape, like you could just swing for anything in the game, really.
Yeah. I remember I took a screenshot of one of the games like early on. It was one of the first decks I tried building, but I just didn't have the theory to do it. Now I feel like I could probably build a better one, but I took a screenshot of when I landed the hit. I did 1,250 damage in one swing.
Oh my god.
It was nasty.
Jesus Christ. No.
It's so
I took 1,200 to the face the other day because somebody was playing the stupid Hydrapple deck with the new Meganium.
I played that.
Oh my god. And I was playing, I think I had a dark in the active, and I took double damage, so it was not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those big hitters are going to be really relevant. Hopefully this season for sure.
Yeah, I know you guys were kind of also mentioning just like stuff that we might expect to see, and I definitely think like the Meganium meta or whatever, because I've been seeing a lot of that Teal Mask Ogerpon just being out there, and it now has 8 energies, on it, and it's just gonna deal a bunch of damage. And then last night was the first time I saw the Hydrapple combo, and it's been a long time since I've seen that Hydrapple EX, because I think that was kind of like the premiere release with it's like use Teal Mask with Hydrapple, and then that kind of fell apart because you could use Teal Mask in other ways, with Raging Bolt and other stuff. But to see it make a comeback, I'm like, oh man, this hurts. It's a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, but I think it all plays a part to where they're having Grass be boosted up by Meganium and Teal Mask now, because we have Phantasmal Flings coming out next, and obviously with the Mega Charizard, it's going to be fire typing, so everyone's going to be like, okay, well, Charizard just ticks back over the meta again, so everyone's just going to be really hot into that after, like, I guess Grass gets its, like, little shine before Phantasmal Flings comes out. Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
But that's exactly why I built the Feraligatr deck, because I was like, Charizard, Mega Charizard EX is going to be popular, so I have the Feraligatr deck for whenever it does become popular, so I could just go to my locals and just start wiping out when I can.
I mean, it's good to play right now too, because Ceruledge is really popular at the moment. Like, dude, it jumped from a dollar card on TCG Player a couple weeks ago, and the base rarity is like $7 now.
Oh, geez.
Because everybody's trying to purchase them right now.
Interesting. Wow, I didn't even realize it jumped up that high in price.
Yeah, so if you have any extras, hold on to them and then sell them if you can. Or you can send it to me. I still need a third one.
I think I might have an extra one for you, Adrian, so I think I'll send it over.
Oh, yeah, right on, yeah. And then Kevin's going to give me his SIR one to use at the League Cup this weekend too. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to hold on to a $160 card just to play. Like, I'd rather just have base rarity. But speaking of League Cups, tournaments, events, and stuff like that, for the both of you, like, what are your TCG goals for this season? We just started the 25-26 season for competitive play. Obviously, the dream, the goal is to make it and get an invite to Worlds. Again, you got to be built different, like boys from Canada and Henry Chow and Tord Reckless and stuff like that. But like, what are your personal TCG goals for this competitive season?
I would have loved to join you guys in Vegas, but unfortunately, my family decided to change. There's changes to my family's holiday plan, so they pushed up our big family Thanksgiving celebration to literally that weekend. So I was just like, can I just skip out? No, I have to be an adult. But
okay, your time will come.
But even for a split second, Kayla, I told her about how you guys were going to the Las Vegas regionals, and she was like, do you want to go? And I was just like, if it wasn't for the family thing, I felt like she would have been like, hey, if you want to go, you can. Like, she was literally getting to that point. I was just like,
what? Hold on. Let me ask you something. What has family done for you that Pokemon hasn't? If you cannot give me a good justification, then you have to go. You sound stumped, so I'm just kidding. I love your family, Damian.
But no, honestly,
shout out to Auntie. I love you, Auntie.
Love you, honey. My personal goal this year is honestly just to be going to more locals, just getting like more reps under the belt as far as going to like just events in general, because the fact that my first official like event was just this Switch side tournament at Worlds, and then just getting my ass handed to me was kind of like a good wake up call, where I'm like, okay, I have jitters, I have a lot of nervousness that I need to get out, and I need to just get the experience of playing in person, because obviously, like any other gaming troll out there, hiding behind a computer screen only works so far, and then giving yourself that self-confidence of like, oh, I can handle this in person in tournament, and then when you're actually there, I'm just like hyperventilating and everything. So I think my personal goal this year is just going to as many local tournaments, league challenges, league cups, that kind of thing, just because I don't see any regional tournaments being in the cards for this upcoming season. And just getting more experience and just being there, being at the events. So I think it's doable. Yeah. What about you, Avery?
Man, that's a really great question. Because like when I think back to the Sacramento regional, a lot of the guys that I was talking about were just like, "Wait, your first event ever is a regional," and I was like, I just didn't question. I was like, "Yeah," and they're just like, "You didn't want to go to a cup or a challenge," and I was like, "What is that?" And they all just like lost it. They're just like, "What?" And they're like, "You don't know what that is?" And I was like, "No, I thought." These were like the only events, and they're just like, no, dude, like you play like cups and regionals or cups and challenges to get points or whatever, and then you make your way up to regional. And I kind of highlight this because I think that's what's so fascinating about this scene of Pokemon is that it's open and accessible to anybody. Like I remember when I first told my homies, like, oh, like I'm going to the Sacramento regional, and some of them used to compete in VGC, and they're like, you got invited to a regional, and I was like, no, like you could just sign up, like and then that's when they also realized the glass shattering kind of moment. And I think that's what's like really great about this is like even if you're not the pro top player, like you can enter into the competitive scene, get a taste of it, and like yeah, it might hurt your feelings because like what happened to me at Toronto was just like devastating, but also like and like what you're saying, Damien, like it kind of humbles you and realizes, okay, I got to get more practice in, I got to get my reps in, and so I guess like for me what I'm looking for in this season is like the bar is like so low. It's just like I wanna win at least one set against someone at a regional. Like even if I go like one and they go two, if I won one, I will be happy with that. The second level to that is getting one full point, myself, not by a round by, not by like a surrender or whatever. Like I actually went two in something and beat somebody. And so that's kind of and hopefully at a regional because I know that I've done it at a cup or a challenge. It would be nice to climb higher at a cup or challenge as well and attend more of those because I went to one. I don't think you went to that one, AJ. It was like an 88 card house one, like in the spring or something.
The one that's at the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how I did at that. I think I did get a win though, and I was like, cool, like I'll take it. And I was still playing Charizard at the time. But it was interesting that I was more nervous at that than I was at the regional. Don't know why. And I think also it was, I remember why. It was the final challenge before rotation. And so everyone brought like their A game to that challenge. There was like 80 people there. And that was the Hisuian Zoroark deck that I was talking about earlier. That was like the first time I saw it. It was a former judge that joined the bracket and they were playing against me. And I was like, I don't even know what this is. Like, what is happening to me right now? Like, I was so confused and they explained it to me. But yeah, I think just to get a win, that would be cool. A larger goal would be if Pokemon could invite me to something or they send me something. That would be nice. But I don't know that's going to happen anytime soon. But that is a future goal. It's like, if they end up sending me like cards for free at some point, that would be cool. Or you guys, that would be cool. Or we apply to like the media pass and they're like, oh, all right, PokeLads podcast. Like, yeah, the two hosts, you get a media creator pass to NAIC or Worlds, or like, oh, like Avery Balasbas. Yeah, let's have him come as a creator pass. Like that would be so cool. I'm not super dead set on that. That's just a nice cherry on top if that ever happens. But yeah, I just want to go to more regionals. They're so much fun to go to if you ever get the chance to. And anyone in general, like even if you're not competing and it's near you, get a spectator pass. Ignore the smell, but enjoy the vibes.
He said the quiet thing out loud.
He said the quiet thing out loud.
But have fun with it because Pokemon's for everyone, and I think that's like the part that I'm excited about. Like, because originally I didn't get a spot for Vegas. Luckily, Wave 2, I was able to get a competitor spot, but I was just gonna go and like support my brother and Adrian while they're playing in the bracket, and I would be farming side events to have packs to open on stream.
No, now this is a good thing. Like I could already see it right now. Like Championship Sunday, and your winner and new regional champion, Avery Balasbas. I think you're close. Like you're on the cusp of greatness for the content creation. I feel like you have a better chance of becoming like a Pokemon influencer versus us, mainly because it's my fault because I'm such a degenerate on this podcast. I don't think we're family friendly enough to get invited
no, we're definitely not
to
family
media.
friendly. I have to put explicit content every single time that we go on to releasing it on Spotify.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's completely my fault. I'm pretty sure we wouldn't get that cut, Damien.
Yeah, no, that's completely fine. No, it's funny because like I'm like Avery's already thinking big for us, so I'm just trying to have a nice little side hobby in between after my baby goes to sleep. You know, I'm not trying to get creator pass for an event. Like, dude, that would be awesome. But at the same time, I'm like, there's probably no way in heck we're gonna be able to get there.
Never know, man.
Yeah.
Dream big.
Dream big. It just takes that one like networking person, that one connection. I'm just saying, Sneaker Talk's going to be at Vegas, so you know, shout out to him if he listens to this and we meet him. We're gonna glaze you hella hard, bro.
Dude, yeah, we gotta get a picture of him.
No, because like he'd be recording people and shit, and then he puts them on the vlog if they're like a subscriber. I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to shout out hella shit. Yeah.
No.
Some goals of mine. I was in a similar situation. Like I started off with regionals as like my first form of like Pokemon competition, and it was the LA regional that me and Damian went to, and I played Zard too. But like my thing was I had experienced that level of competition already because of Yu-Gi-Oh! So I would go to like Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship series and stuff like that. But I got humbled hella quick. And I forgot what it felt like to be in that type of competition and that size of like tournament. So I didn't do too bad. Like I was like X2 by like round 5, which is like something you never want to be because like that's an instant drop. But I think from there, like I kept going to regionals. Like I went to the Sacramento one. I didn't do too great either. I think it was the same thing. X2 drop by round 5. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to start smaller. So I started going to more league cups and league challenges. One of the goals I already accomplished was going X1 out of 5 rounds for a league challenge. So that was pretty much not top cut because they don't do top cut for league challenges, but I was in like maybe the top 4 or 5 people of my first like league challenge. So that was cool. And then I think the next goal for me is to make top cut for a league cup. Hopefully that happens this Saturday. If you're listening right now, that's October 11th. I have another league cup coming up, so hopefully that happens. And then hopefully for Vegas when we go, it would be awesome to make day 2 and touch top 64 so we could just get that $2,000 in dip. Like I don't even care about winning the whole thing. Yeah, but yeah, it's a smaller goals for me. Like just farming the league challenges and trying to make a top cut in the league cup or a regional. Very far away, but definitely one of the goals for this year.
For sure.
I can see you doing it.
I think we could start wrapping up though, because I know it's been we're it's getting up there in length. We just like loved having this conversation with Avery. But as we kind of like start to close things out here, Avery, is there any lasting impressions or last words that you want to be able to say to the listeners that we have here?
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys for having me. You know, I enjoy talking about this Pokemon journey and just how much Pokemon means to all 3 of us, everybody listening, because it's just like it's something that always came and went in waves. I think just because as millennials, I don't know, for me at least, it was like I'm too old for Pokemon, and then here I am now looking back at it as we reflect on this episode. That it's like it's been a part of my life whether I wanted it to be or not. And now it's just like the heart of what I'm doing is content creating. And I'm just like, now I'm really proud to say that like it's just something that's you know, something that I've loved, you know, my entire life. And hopefully that, you know, can just spread joy to other people too. So thank you guys for having me. You know, hopefully I don't know where I'm going with that. You can cut that out. But yeah.
Yeah.
It won't be the last time that you're on here. And like where can people find you?
Oh yeah. You can find me on Avery Balasbas on all platforms pretty much. The only difference with Twitch is it's Avery Balasbas _ because if you search up the regular one, it's the account that I don't know the password to, and it like has no followers. So I can't figure it out. Twitch won't give it to me, but Avery Balasbas _ twitch.tv, that was backwards, but yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thanks again for joining in. And for our listeners, if you liked the episode, feel free to give a like, comment. Please subscribe. We also do crave subscribes. We're new here, and I know we've fallen off quite a bit just during those summer months, but we're back and we're trying to make sure that we're being consistent with it. If you had anything that you wanted us to be able to talk about next, feel free to just mention it to us. We're always looking for feedback on how we could be able to do a better job for our listeners and our viewers out there. But Adrian, I'm sure you want to say what you always like to say at the end of the episode, so I'll just kind of let you say your piece first before signing off.
I thought you'd never ask. Hashtag utters out for Miltank.
the,
Peace.
man, the man brought out the plushie. All right, peace, everyone. Thanks for listening.